Bom, pessoal, quero agradecer todo mundo que mandou suas perguntas via Twitter, via blog, porque a gente está aqui com o Kul Wadhwa, responsável pelo desenvolvimento de negócios da Wikimedia Foundation. Então, queria agradecer. Thank you, Kul,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Obrigado.
It's a pleasure. Be welcome
Glad to
here
be
in
here.
Brazil. Thanks for coming. A entrevista ela vai ser em inglês e eu espero que vocês utilizem esse conteúdo. A gente pode mandar depois traduzido. Mas a ideia é a gente falar um pouquinho com o Kul para entender como que funciona esse negócio na web, a web 2.0, como os empreendedores de startups e jovens empreendedores conseguem lidar com esse novo fenômeno que acontece no Brasil, que está todo mundo ainda explorando e aprendendo a mexer. Kul, just to wrap up what Endeavor is, Endeavor is a non-profit organization that supports high-impact entrepreneurs around the country. And we consider innovation, potential of growth, and the entrepreneur behavior.
Right.
All of this we can consider.
No, you guys are doing
high
excellent work, and I think it's really necessary what you're doing here.
Oh, nice.
So,
Thanks.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Just to start, can you tell us more about the Wikimedia Foundation?
Right.
And its relationship with the main project, the Wikipedia?
Okay. Well, Wikipedia, most people know about it. It's the top 5 website in the world. Actually, I looked at the data recently. It's number 4 in Latin America right now. And Wikipedia started in 2001. It was a project by Jimmy Wales and Larry Sanger. And that actually kind of developed, on its own in a lot of ways. Like collaboratively, people just started getting together and it grew in a phenomenal rate because everyone was collaborating. The foundation actually came a couple years after, which is very unusual. Usually you will have the property, which, whatever you're trying to produce, whether it's a product or a service, come before or come after you create an organization. But the organization came 2 years afterward because really the project really grew on its own. And so the foundation was there really to try to keep the servers running. I mean, it didn't have a lot of strategy involved. Really the people, which is the public, really ran the website. And these are people that contributed content, technology, and so forth, to actually make the site grow. And so right now the foundation was reorganized in January of 2008 to really focus on bringing, Wikipedia and the other projects to the next level. So really what Wikipedia is, it's a project under the umbrella of the Wikimedia Foundation, where Wikimedia runs that and several other ones, such as Wiki Species, Wiki News, Wiktionary, and other ones that run on the Media Wiki platform, which is really about collaborative, technology.
Okay, nice. And Rodrigo Teles, the MD of Endeavor Brasil, we try to make it collaborative, all the questions. Okay?
Right.
Just to...
Did they re-edit other people's questions, or?
Yeah, he asked, what is the big dream of Wikimedia Foundation?
Well, since we're a non-profit, we have multiple things that we're doing, but overall we really want to extend the reach, quality, and participation of the projects. Wikipedia is the flagship, obviously, but we're really about extending free knowledge to every person on the planet. And whatever, all the different ways we can do that is what we're looking at. So we're not really just about the web, we're really about getting that information out there to all people.
Okay, and can you tell us more about the Wikimedia Foundation strategic planning?
Right.
And what are the strategic goals?
Right, so we're still trying to figure that out, really. But what we're doing at this point, we're starting a strategic plan. It's going to be a 1-year process. And the thing is, what's really important, a lot of people should know when you're starting any type of, whether it's a company or nonprofit, there are so many things you can do. It's just as important to figure out what you shouldn't be doing as it is what you should be doing. And so we need to put everything on the table and kind of figure out which direction we want to go into. And so since we have limited resources, right now our staff is about 27 people. So if you think about our scope and our reach, being a top 5 website that has 11 billion page views per month, that's a really small amount of people. The rest of the world actually is also contributing to the growth of Wikipedia, but we're really having to help guide the direction of the projects in a lot of ways, with the help of the community. So we really need to figure out what we want to do, what we want to focus our time on. And so the strategic plan really is going to help us, understand what our goals should be and where we should focus that energy on.
Okay. And as you're an NGO, how do government, real estate, NGO, and society can be involved and help this dream, this
Right.
strategic goals?
Well, we believe, like the way we look at it is there's an entire ecosystem of knowledge, and we believe that we're going to push all of this out. And everybody is a part of this. I mean, as long as we're there, we don't only feel that people use this, but you're also a contributor, and people can contribute in many different ways. People think it's all just about money. I mean, there are donations. We also do business deals, but the content itself, I mean, we want people to contribute, and that even from an individual level. Everybody can contribute. I mean, not even just text. I mean, we are expanding, rich media, pictures, video, all of that is a whole repository of knowledge that people can use, and everybody can contribute in very different ways. So, governments with different support, individuals by, uploading different types of content, money, everything actually goes into helping. Even technology. I mean, there's a lot of people in the open source community have actually made Wikipedia what it is because they've been contributing their free time and, fixing the code within the site. I mean, all of that is helpful, and all of it works together to make all of the projects better.
Okay, thank you. And another question. Wikipedia, like YouTube, is a success story of mobilizing large number of volunteers to collaboratively contribute in the production of free content. Can you explore with us how Brazilian entrepreneurs can learn from this story? I think you already said a little bit.
Sure. I mean, the thing is, what's really interesting is that from my perspective, it's still a lot of it is about the user. I mean, I looked at a lot of different case studies before, and you look at YouTube and why did that succeed? There was a lot of other companies doing video at the time, right? I mean, Google Video, I mean, they were really focused on the technology. Maybe too much so. I mean, really, you wanted an easy experience. And Wikipedia, I mean, in a lot of ways is not very complicated. So one thing is that, really people are going for one certain thing. That's really just to look up knowledge, look up information. And that's one thing. I mean, on the collaborative sense is sometimes you have to let things go. There's a lot of companies out there that are probably trying to control too much. And the way the world has expanded and all these different technologies and platforms, everybody can be involved in the process. I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter if you're in Brazil or you're in India or United States. Everyone can contribute in a certain way. So if you try to control too many things within your own group, let's say, oh, well, I have my 5 people in my startup and we're going to do all this ourselves. I mean, people that are willing to open up like their platform, their technology, or even like their business model to a certain extent can get a lot more people to contribute to the success. Mm-hmm. And it actually makes you better. I mean, when you have so many people on your team, it's like, if I'm playing, football and you have your 11 people and I have 1,000 people on my team, eventually I'm going to win. So, I mean, it really helps to, I mean, it really helps to be able to sometimes you have to a little of that go, and people are scared to do that. And so you have to find out, what the balance is, but obviously the more people that are on your side, the better. So when you open things up and people feel like that they own part of this, that it's partly theirs, they're going to be more willing to help you and make sure, whatever it is you're doing, whether it's a project, you're building your own nonprofit or even a startup, that the more you allow other people to contribute to that success, it's going to be more successful.
Yeah, because people have that issue. This is my content, I provide the best content, and it's not like this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to control things at a certain point, and sometimes you shouldn't. I mean, people go in there and they improve lots of things. Even we were talking about this yesterday, and somebody put an article up on the wiki. This Pedro, who was a journalist, and he was surprised that all these Wikimedians came in and actually fixed all these grammar and all these things that he didn't expect them to do. And sometimes, like if let's say you develop some technology and it's open source, people will maybe come in and actually fix a lot of the things you didn't suspect that were wrong with it. And when you only have let's say 10 people on your team that can look at it, and there are thousands of people that will stop by and find things that you can't, they're obviously going to improve your product that way.
Yeah. Now a tricky question from Bob Volheim, 6 Peaks here in São Paulo. Is the world really free, flat and small?
Is the world really free, flat and small? Well, physically I would say no. But but I mean, yeah, in a lot of ways it's getting that way. I mean, all the technology is connecting everybody in so many different ways. Wherever you are, basically. I mean, from when I was like a kid, you couldn't get online and be connected with everybody instantly wherever they are in the world. So obviously things have changed in a lot of ways. I mean, it's obvious to everybody. You don't have to ask me about that. You can ask anybody on the street that it's so different than it was 10 years ago. And everybody, is close to everybody else because of the technologies that are out there. It's really about the technology right now and the way people use that.
Okay. Now we are going to talk about content, and Marcio Cabi from Confid sent us the question. Can you comment on the importance of the planning, the thinking, and the collaboration of content instead of focus on technology?
Right. Well, the interesting thing, I could give Wikipedia as an example, but sometimes, you really just don't know how things are going to turn out. I mean, a lot of it's about just trying to create the right values and principles. I mean, why Wikipedia was really successful is that, people were bold. I mean, there were rules and there were no rules. And sometimes you have to experiment a lot and try different things and actually, make things so people can be flexible and fail. I mean, if you don't allow for the ability to fail, like a lot of, interesting things don't get produced. I mean, you have to really push the limits on a lot of things. So a lot of that is really driven by people. I mean, you have to inspire people. You got to give them the abilities, the tools and stuff to do that. I mean, part of it's technology, but a lot of it is allowing people to be empowered. Give them that control. Let them do a lot of the things that are available and out there to just be creative with that. So, I mean, even much more than technology, it's really about giving that freedom to people.
Again, Bobby, we've seen a lot of collaborative work, but normally the authorship is less collective. How do you think things will evolve?
Well, I think that this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, but I think that you have more outlets, more people are getting involved with the processes of anything. I mean, even if you look at like IBM, I mean, they're open sourcing a lot of the stuff that they're doing. So what happens is that everybody is going to be involved in the process, or can be involved. I mean, you cannot control a lot of these things at a certain point, and you probably shouldn't. I mean, what happens is the pie just gets bigger and bigger and everybody can share in a bigger pie. So, allowing yourself to kind of flow freely and allow everybody else to come in and out and do certain things. I mean, a lot of people, like if you look at other websites, I mean, they've been more successful even on like mobile, is like freeing up their content or even their technology, allowing other people to develop off of it and create off of it. I mean, the people that are going much more insular and trying to protect that, I think are going to be in much more trouble in the future.
Tell us more about the free license of content produced by the volunteers in all Wikimedia projects. Do you think such model hinders the ability of entrepreneurs to profit of its endeavors or not? Why?
Well, I mean, in a lot of ways I would say no, because the thing is the Wikipedia was really successful for multiple reasons, and people understand it's like everything converged at the same time, and all of these things needed to happen for Wikipedia to be what it is. I mean, first of all, the technology was there, right? You had the internet, you had the ability for everybody anywhere to be involved in this. And then you also had free licenses, which we're talking about right now. And the thing is, when people were trying to control a lot of the content, it didn't allow everyone to come in and do certain things and improve it. I mean, if you had all these things that were under, certain copyrights, then that would restrict a lot of people for improving that. So, I mean, what happens is that, because it's free and open, that, people are worried about, I can't, there's no barrier to entry because I can't protect this. But then what this also does, on the flip side, is that allows so much more content and things to be available out there. So what happens, it just changes the model a little bit. I mean, what you have to do is think about how you're going to add value to that. I mean, are you going to take that content and create an application or more functionality on top of that? But what this does is allow more things that you can work with at the same time. It just changes the model a little bit. I mean, you can go back to what's going on in the music industry, and people are like, you look at the internet and people can copy music, it's destroying the music industry. Well, that's just changing the model. I mean, what happens is now is that becomes more of a marketing mechanism, and people are, their business model centers more around the concerts, the experience, other value added, other products, and that's, people just have to adjust to that. So it's just a change in it. But I think that it actually improves the ability for people to actually make money, because what it allows, it's much more stuff to work with. But it's just, the focus and what the model looks like just changes.
Nice. André Bianchi from Limão. There is a great online community here in Brazil, really famous.
There's a lot of great online communities in Brazil.
This is one of them. Balancing editorial content and collaborative content. What is the role of newspapers in the future?
Yeah, I wish I knew. But I mean, I think you have to distinguish between newspapers and journalists. Like I say, newspapers I kind of compare to like records and CDs, and those are disappearing, obviously. Newspapers are in a lot of trouble right now, because that business model where, it's a very, you have high, operational costs, printing newspapers, and the distribution mechanism is very expensive. I mean, what the internet and technology does is it basically brings your distribution costs down to almost zero, right? It almost costs nothing to deliver like information that's in a newspaper, but not in a form of paper, right? You want to deliver it by mobile, internet, or any type of digital device. So what's going to really probably happen, and don't quote me on this because I don't really know yet, I think everybody's trying to figure this out, but a lot of these technologies are bringing the journalists closer to the people. I mean, what you're doing is you're getting rid of the middleman in some ways. So before you were a journalist and you'd go through this huge editorial process, now you can just, through various mechanisms, a lot of people bring Twitter up, but I think, whether it's a blog, your own site, you actually can deliver this information straight to the public. I mean, I also think there's going to be some evolution. This is my own theory. A lot of people will probably disagree, but I mean, there are strong brands out there. I mean, the New York Times is one of them. I mean, you could see them trying to develop a different business model out of it. The Wall Street Journal, where, there's some certain types of high-end content. I think that, people create platforms where other people can contribute news. I mean, citizen journalism, I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for that, to evolve as well. I mean, we do want to see journalists, we do want to see I mean, journalists are very important for society. I mean, a lot of people come up to me and they say, oh, why is Wikipedia destroying journalism? And that's not our intent at all. I mean, really, we're all about just collaborative knowledge. And I think there is definitely a role for journalism. It's very important for society. And I hope a business model comes out of it. And I do believe there will be one. And I think it will involve heavily like the digital space and figuring out how to take advantage of the distribution mechanism better, whether it's on e-readers or something like that. Somebody's going to figure it out. I have no doubt about that. And maybe it's a Brazilian entrepreneur, and hopefully that would be really great.
Yeah. And how to ensure the credibility of the content?
Right, so, in terms of our content, we have a process for that. And what happens is that, a lot of people vet the content out. I mean, you have to source stuff on Wikipedia. I mean, you cannot just throw content on there and say that, oh, this is the truth. I mean, you have to reference it. And then we have a lot of people, a system within the community, and they go and they vet the content. It's a very thorough process because there's a lot of studies out there that compare Wikipedia to the Britannica. Nature magazine has done this. I know HP Labs, and they show basically the more people that are involved in the collaborative process, the better the content becomes. So every time people go into this and actually look and evaluate it, and there's a lot of discussions on our meta pages, talk pages, and even through different chat rooms where people argue and discuss these things. And their whole goal, because we have these set values and principles, that we're really trying to get neutral point of view and the best content out there that's truthful and honest. Everybody does go in that direction because that's what we're really about. And we set those, rules within the community to make sure that happens.
Okay. And I know everything is collaborative nowadays, but the collaborative newspapers like Wikinews and All My News,
right?
What's the opportunity we have here, or is the same thing as you have already said?
Right. I mean, I think that, those are still, in a very nascent stage. I mean, I want to see those things develop in a lot of ways. And the thing is, with all of these collaborative things, you still need a lot of people to go in and take leadership roles. I mean, really to push this around. You have champions like in different subject areas. And I think that, since this is kind of such a new area, you need to see more people get involved in it. I mean, when there's more stories, and it's a process. You have to think about Wikipedia like in 2001, and really, it was a very small experimental, project that was going on. And, Wikinews and a lot of these collaborative journalism things are starting to evolve. I mean, I don't know in which way they're going to go, but hopefully I think it's really about giving the tools to people so they can go out and do a lot of things. I mean, our whole belief is that we trust people. They're going to go out and do the right things if you give them the ability to do it. And you just need to see more things out there that are going to really help people evolve in the citizen journalism field.
Okay. Now the topic is to the companies, okay?
Right.
And tell us more about the idea of partnering with for-profit companies to achieve the strategic objectives of the Wikimedia Foundation.
Right.
How can Brazilian entrepreneurs partner with you?
Well, first of all, this has been kind of a work in progress. I mean, when you're trying to do different business models, it's always difficult. I mean, you have to experiment here and there. I mean, we're talking about how newspapers are evolving. Publishing obviously is under a lot of challenges because of the digital age. Music was probably the first one to get bombarded by this. And what I'm actually trying to do is figure out, is there a business model that has nonprofits working with for-profits? Because, you know, my belief, and a lot of people that I work with, I mean, this is kind of what we're striving for, is that, you know, we're part of an ecosystem and everybody should be involved somehow. And I think there is a role for businesses, and we do want to see businesses profit off of us. I mean, I think it's important for society, and, you know, we are in a capitalistic world, and, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, we do want to see people profit, and it benefits us, it benefits them, it benefits the world as a whole. Because if we can have more money come in, you know, we can create more content that way. Then,
and develop.
Yes, and it benefits everybody. There's no reason why you couldn't do this in a very mission-friendly way that supports all of the players involved. And so what I do in terms of evaluating businesses, I mean, it's a very different model in that I don't just look at revenue. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities where I could go out and say, well, I'll throw the Wikipedia brand on this, you know, pay me a licensing deal, but that's not what we're really about. I mean, we want to be very strategic about this and make sure that it benefits, you know, the projects and the community as a whole. So, I mean, I have three main criteria. One, it's got to be mission friendly. And mission friendly, it's got to, you know, when we go back to extend reach, participation, and quality. The second thing is strategic value. You know, are there things with a certain partner I can do that we couldn't do on our own that's really going to help us? I mean, extend reach, you know, reach, participation, and quality. And the third thing, obviously, is revenue. I mean, you got to keep the lights on, right? I mean, if you don't have certain, you know, amount of money coming in, it's hard to keep doing the things that you do. Invest in infrastructure, new technologies, you know, qualified staff to keep, you know, expanding things. So revenue is a little bit easier. I mean, obviously, I can model these things out. I can figure out, you know, where there's money, where we can share money with possible different partners. So, you know, there's different examples I can kind of take up with some of the partners that I work with. And a lot of talk has been given about Orange, you know, one of the big partnerships that I started, you know, a few months ago. And Orange is France Telecom. It's a Fortune 500 company. Very unusual. People are wondering, oh, how could you work with them? And actually, it makes a lot of sense in a lot of ways, because if you look at our assets, I mean, Wikipedia obviously has a lot of traffic, a lot of brand value, the community, our technology, and just our, you know, our knowledge about collaboration as well. You know, and then, you know, our ability to work with like open source and different other communities to be involved in the process. And, you know, a lot of these companies starting to realize they can't do a lot of these things on their own. So what we do is we try to work with them. I mean, what we're really doing is trying to make sure that our content gets to people in the most places in the ways that they want. So if we can't develop all these mobile applications ourselves, they can help us do that. And they can also, you know, help us strategically think about like which areas do we want to be involved with. And we work with a lot of people in these different ways. And so like if you talk about different entrepreneurs, how they can be involved. I mean, people can do anything they want with the content. It's under free license. I mean, people can actually come in, take the content, create a book, and then sell it. I mean, Brazilians can do that as well. I mean, we actually encourage them to, because that actually gets the content out to more people in more places, right? I mean, you can create offline readers. There's a lot of things about content delivery that people can get involved with. There's other things that can be involved in terms of the technology side. There are a lot of applications that I've seen out there. I mean, people are taking Wikipedia content and actually geotagging it, where like if you're on a mobile device and things come up like, you know, let's say that, you know, I'm in Sao Paulo in front of a famous building and then the Wikipedia article comes up, people can write those applications. You know, and there's revenue models that are developing around that, whether it's like advertising, e-commerce, and that's a way for, you know, people to share in that revenue. And we want people to develop those things, because we can't do it all ourselves. Like I said, we have 27 people, and a lot of companies have hundreds of people that are just developing applications. So we would like to see we'd like to work with a lot of people, and, you know, Brazilians would be great, you know, developing things, especially that are specific for, you know, their territory, even Latin America. And if, you know, they can scale it out worldwide, I don't see why, you know, they shouldn't be doing those things.
Okay, really good. When we talk about social networks, social media, and Web 2.0, the references are always huge cases of success. Many entrepreneurs of small companies, startups, with less resources, don't really know a more practical way to get on board. Can a collaborative model like Wikipedia go beyond the internet? You just said that. And what are the lessons learned from entrepreneurs not directly working with the web?
Right, well, I think there's actually a book out there that you could read, Wikinomics, which really shows how people work in a collaborative sense. Like, there's a case study about like geology, and people, like these companies, could not map like on their own like all the deposits, when they were looking for like natural resources all over the world. It's an impossible task. So basically they farmed it out to the entire geology community and said, go out and do this, be part of this, and everyone started contributing to that. And you can do that in a lot of ways. And what's pretty interesting, and maybe we'll have a follow-up interview about this, is actually I'm working with some other academics, and we're trying to figure out how you extend the network model to other places. I mean, it makes a lot of sense on the internet, but I do think that maybe it's